Sure. I can do audio test if you guys want. I'm all set, so. I can do audio. Oh. There you go. I got you. If you can do me a favor, check my audio as well. That'd be great.
Hey, Dee.
I would just do it. How's that? Try. Oh, there you go. There we go.
Thank y'all for, yeah, we had to find an alternative location, so.
Make sure.
You need a mic check. Test.
I need to move my camera. Make sure.
We've had before. Yeah, we've chatted all the time.
Test. You good?
I gotta swing over here. I'm sorry.
The plan is they're gonna take this obviously live and
It'll be on our website as well.
perfect. And then if I can laugh on this, with a live, let's say, you need me to hold that for you?
No, no.
Let me make sure my phone
Be
is.
by myself, so I'm not, you know.
So there is no,
And this will be on our website as well.
All right, D, you ready?
Not really. I don't know where the clip goes to if it's not a person.
Oh, yeah.
It can just,
How about all right, everybody, mic check, ready to go?
Can we get mic?
You need mic check?
Yeah, we can get a mic check up there.
mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mic check. We good?
One more time.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
You good, Noah?
Sorry.
can you test me?
Mic check,
Okay.
All right, we're good.
Mic check, good? Okay.
Hey, Dre, you all ready?
This way.
Y'all ready? Good morning. Thanks to everyone for being here today. I'm Madison Mayor Renee Bartlett, and I'm here with Pastor Spencer Beach of Building Church and Dr. Ed Nichols, Superintendent of Madison City Schools. Thank you for meeting us over here in the police department. We have municipal court going on in our council chamber, so we were not able to give you this announcement over there. As you know, members of our community, tenants of the Sutton Apartments at 190 Shelton Road, through no fault of their own, had their water turned off last Thursday due to their landlord's failure to pay their Madison Utilities water bill. Yesterday, the city learned through media reports that Madison Utilities has permanently closed the account on the property owner and will not be turning the water back on. We want to thank everyone who has come together to help the families living in Sutton Apartments this week. Specifically, we want to extend our gratitude to Legal Services of Alabama, Shower Up, the American Red Cross, One Generation Away, Publix, Kroger, Madison City Schools, the Building Church, Refuge Church, and I just heard that Champies delivered some water today. This week, our building and fire departments inspected the Sutton Apartments and consider them unsafe and a public nuisance. Right now, our goal is to help the remaining tenants relocate out of the Sutton Apartments by the end of next week. I have spoken to Huntsville Utilities and confirmed that they will not turn off any electricity until we can help the tenants move out next week. To do so, 2 organizations are helping collect donations to assist the tenants. To share more information about how the public can assist, I'll now turn it over to Dr. Ed Nichols, who will be followed by Pastor Spencer Beach.
Thank you, Mayor Bartlett. And first of all, let me say I appreciate Pastor Beach. We've been friends for many years, and they have always been a great partner with the school district and the community. But I especially want to thank Mayor Bartlett, who immediately when this situation began to arise reached out to me to make sure that we as a school district were aware of what some of our families that have school children could be facing. Our social work team, along with Lee Shaw, who helps with our student support organization, immediately began to work to assist 4 families that we know had children in our school district. Our school counselors, our principals at each of these schools reached out to these families, and we are working through our program of SOS, where donations are given to help students when they reach any type of crisis financially, whether that would be field trips or supplies or anything. The generous donations of the community have helped us to do this in the past, and we will utilize those funds to help families. Now, Lee Shaw and our social team have worked to find a location for our 4 families in an extended stay hotel while they're trying to find a new place to go. And through those donations, we will be able to help them pay the rent while they're there until they can relocate. I know there'll be donations for others that Pastor Beach will talk about that do not have children in the school district, but certainly we want to help anybody that's there, and folks can give for the school children through the Give Now site on our website at Madison City Schools. But I just want to again say thank you, Mayor Bartlett. Immediately, Mayor Bartlett reached out, and the reason that as a school district we are prepared to help those families today is many years ago when Mayor Bartlett was the president of the school board, she felt like we needed someone in our community that would work to do that, and she actually was the president that created the position that Lee Shaw is in today, and Lee coordinates with our social workers to do that. So again, we're here to assist our families, to help our kids, and we certainly appreciate our local schools. I certainly appreciate the community, Pastor Beach and the church, and Lee Shaw on our team. So thank you.
Just want to take a moment and say thank you to Mayor Bartlett, also to Dr. Ed Nichols. You know, when events like this happen, we want to come together as a community. So last night I reached out to Mayor Bartlett and said, is there anything we can do? We want to be engaged. We'll be fully a part of what's happening here. And so from that Building Church, we've decided to establish a fund to help those who do not have children in the Madison County school system. So there is approximately 10 to 12 other families who are going to need short-term temporary housing. So we have created a site where people can go on and donate towards that and help us accommodate those families by paying for those needs in this short-term stay situations. There's also a place on our site for an application where the families who've been affected through this difficulty can apply for assistance for even some short-term, extra short-term care for housing. Also where they can apply for some deposit situations as they begin to move into their newfound housing situations. And so we're trying to cover both short-term and also help them get into their next place of living by offering some money towards their deposits. We are guaranteeing that as a church, building church, but also we're partnering with other city organizations, Refuge Church, One Gen Away, as the mayor has said, many other organizations, Asbury, to make sure that these families are taken care of. So if someone would like to participate and be a part of that, if you have a need, if you're a Sutton resident and you haven't heard from us, you can go to buildingchurch.tv, you can click on the Sutton Apartment link there and apply for assistance. Or if you're in our city and you'd like to partner and say, we'd like to help being a part of alleviating this financial strain on these families during this time, you can go to buildingchurch.tv, click on the Sutton link there and donate now as well. But we just want to take a moment and say thank you to all of the community partners for making this such an incredible thing for us to serve people in need who found themselves in this place by no fault of their own. So we look forward to helping and serving our city as much as we can and working with Mayor Bartlett and also Dr. Nichols. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pastor Beach, Dr. Nichols. We can't do this alone, and we're so grateful for the support of this community. We know that they're going to pull together and help us help these people at the Sutton Apartments. Now we're going to open it up for any questions that you may have.
Mayor Chris Tatum with Way 31. At what point did the city, I'm talking about the cutoff, not the actual permanent cutoff, at what point did the city learn that Madison Utilities had shut off this water or were going to shut off this water?
I found out late last Friday. It was almost closing time, and my building department contacted me that the fire department had been contacted that day, that afternoon, by Madison Utilities.
Does this shut off affect any emergency equipment, fire hydrants, or anything like that in that area?
It certainly does. I did contact Madison Utilities when I found out that this had happened, because I thought, and we thought at that time, that it was being shut off Friday evening. And so I called to ask if we could postpone that till at least Monday so that we would have time to get some resources and notify the tenants. And they told me that actually they weren't cutting it off Friday night, they had already cut it off on Thursday. So indeed, that does present some challenges with respect to fire protection. So then Friday evening, I was conversing with our fire chief, Brandy Williams. She's here too if you have any questions about the plans that they need to make in order to provide for fire safety in the city. But they do have a plan and a way that they could answer a call now that they know that the water and the hydrants there at the Sutton Apartments have been cut off.
And if I may, just to be clear, that you said the end of next week, Friday of next week is the 23rd. Is that your deadline by which you hope to have all of these people out?
That is our goal.
Is there a specific amount for donations that you need to meet to be able to help all of these families move out and get a different living situation?
So there's not a limit or an amount or a goal at this point. The goal is to help them get to other apartments where we could perhaps pay down a deposit and help them pay for their short-term rental until they can find a more permanent place that they would want to be. I applaud Dr. Nichols for quickly finding a place in a hotel just for the students. And so I think long-term, though, if donations can come in, we can help them find a more permanent location.
Is it unusual for, I'm a little concerned, perhaps I shouldn't be, but that you found out that the city of Madison found out after the water had been shut off to that many people and even a fire hydrant affected?
Yes, it is quite unusual. I would hope that that would never happen again in the future.
When did the city find out that Madison Utilities had officially disconnected the property owner's water account, thus making it essentially impossible to get water back on at all?
We found out yesterday when news media reported it. That's how we found out.
So in two very clear incidents in which the city did not get any kind of notice from Madison Utilities, is that a violation of any policy, or is there just a bad communication on their part? How does that happen? Because that doesn't seem like it should have happened.
I agree with you that that should not happen. We will be discussing this with their board and those who manage Madison Utilities, but they are an independent organization. They're governed by a separate board. They do not answer to the city of Madison. Madison's arrangement with Madison Utilities is very different from Huntsville or Athens.
And as you look forward to help these people get into different apartments, as you had mentioned, are there specific ones nearby that you have had conversations with? Because I know there are multiple that have come to the apartment complex. I think Madison Landing and Ashford Terrace Apartments were saying that they're willing to help, maybe give 1 month rent-free, things like that. Have you been in conversations with any of the apartments?
So we have not, but we will be. Our first step is to go to the apartment complex and get a current count of the number of residents that actually need help. We understand that some of them have already moved to other locations. Today at noon, Refuge Church is going to be delivering food bags as well as mini fire extinguishers. And so we're going to help disperse those and distribute those this afternoon and hope to have a more up-to-date count so we know what we're actually dealing with.
What's the plan with the Sutton Apartments for the future? I mean, just a bunch of buildings that are going to be, abandoned at the end rate. Does the city have any plans for them in the future?
Of course, once we had the inspection done by the fire department and our building department, with the results of that, the next step would be to have an order to vacate. And so we are working with our attorneys and working through that process. It does take some notice to be able to do that, perhaps an act even by our city council, so we'll know more after they meet actually today. And so there is a legal process that occurs that is governed by the city. But our goal is that regardless of what that process is, we want to help the tenants who are there now get out before we start moving forward to vacate the property.
And may I ask, regarding this inspection in which you found these apartments unsafe, can you tell us some of the things that inspection uncovered that has you concerned?
I have our fire chief here today to talk to you about the specific findings of the fire inspection. In terms of the code enforcement issues, those were more about the way that the stairs were trying to be reconstructed. There was an electrical panel, there's some fire alarms that are not working, so smoke alarms and things like that. So if you would like our fire chief to give you some details about what their findings are and what their plans are to be able to keep the place protected during this period that the water is off.
Good morning. As far as the list of items that we had identified in the inspection, we identified significant electrical exposures, such as wiring that's just exposed in walls from where previous work was being conducted and has since been ceased. It's my understanding that the access to those apartments is wide open. The doors are standing wide open, so anyone can go into those apartments and be exposed to the electrical issues that are going on. There's also some issues with utility meters on the outside of the apartment that's in complete disarray and unsafe as well. We were not able to gain access to all of the apartments due to not having, management on site, but we can only assume with the condition that the property is in that a lot of the smoke alarms in the individual apartments do not work. That's only an assumption. We did hear some chirping smoke alarms, which is an indicator that the batteries will soon die, and then you will have notification if there was a fire. As far as protection of the property, unfortunately with the way that apartment complex was designed, when you shut the water and the private fire hydrants are all on one system. So when you shut the water off, it shuts the water off to the private hydrants. There is a fire hydrant on Shelton Road, right about the entrance. It's actually to the east of 194 Shelton Road, so it would be just prior to the entrance into 190 Shelton Road. That distance to the entrance is from the hydrant to the entrance is about 400 feet, just a little less. And then you're talking about, more than 1,000-foot lay back into the very back building of the property. But, we have 1,000 foot of hose on each engine, and then we have the option to relay pump throughout the complex, and that's just lining pumpers up and laying hose from the hydrant to one pumper, and then hose to the next pumper at the fire. So we have the ability to take care of that, but the problem with that is that takes some time to lay out that much hose and make those connections We do have a minimum of 500 gallons of water on our trucks. Some of our trucks have 1,000 gallons of water, so that's gonna buy us a few minutes to get the water supply process going.
I'm assuming that steps up the need to get these people out of there quickly with fire hazards and no real water supply to fight the fire.
Absolutely it does, because, you know, it just hinders our ability to protect people that are in the buildings. And then, of course, going forward, once the building is vacant, you know, one thing that we never want to assume is there's no one in there, because, you know, there can be people break in, there can, you know, be a population that, you know, gets out of the cold. So we always want to assume there's someone in there, and we always verify that by doing searches. But it would be helpful for us to know that the property is secured at least.
Any last questions?
I have one or two, Mayor, sorry.
Okay.
I was just going to ask if the city has been able to get into any sort of contact with the property owners or property management company?
No, we have not, and I think that that's a common theme that I've heard from others who are also trying to contact the property owners. I will say, though, that today, when we conclude this press conference, you will see information on our website, so that the public, a lot of members of the public, have been contacting us, posting on social media, how can we help? And because of the kindness and generosity of Building Church, their members, and also Madison City Schools, we will have 2 links that the public can access if they would like to contribute. Every small donation will help us help these poor tenants in the Sutton Apartments. All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.